Hello fragrance lovers. Today we are talking about another candle house, which is kind of a recent discovery for me, I might add. The house is CIRE TRUDON. I was given one of their candles many years ago by a friend and I never burned it. It was a tiny little one. I think it was one of the beeswax ones. And it was so precious to me that I just never wanted to burn it because I thought I'm never going to own one of these CIRE TRUDON candles because, let's face it, they are a little bit pricey. A little bit. But now I have dived into the CIRE TRUDON pot of wax. What got me into actually getting over the hump of actually buying one of these candles, or several, was I did a masterclass on them a couple of weeks ago. It was an online masterclass that was run by our local perfumery. They do a really good job of them actually. I've done a perfume class as well, where they send you out a heap of samples so you can smell things, and they send you a little bottle of champagne and some chocolate, and you also get a discount on anything that you order, which is amazing. So well worth the $50 that I paid for it, because I definitely got my $50 back and then some in the purchases that I made. Although, you know, it's one of those things, you save money, but if you might not have otherwise spent it in the first place, did you really save it? I don't know. That's not what I'm going to worry about here today. We're not talking about finances, we're talking about candles. But in order for us to do the masterclass, because it was online and not in store, obviously, due to isolation, they had to send us something so that we could smell what these smelled like. And they used these little wax cameos. So it's just basically, it's a really nice, beautiful little wax cameo where you have someone's head. I don't know whose head that is. And then there was light again. Okay, so wax cameo. So these are actually used to scent a room as well. So you can melt these. I'm just going to move this camera back a little bit more. So you can melt these and they release the aroma, but they smell exactly like the candles, but these are more concentrated. But I'll go into that a little bit later. But in any case, they sent us a heap of these so that we could smell the different candles. So the ones I'll talk about today are the ones that I ended up buying. I won't go through all the cameos that we had because there was a lot of them. And, you know, it was an hour and a half class or something. So I won't go through all of them, but I'll just sort of cherry pick some of the ones that I really liked. Obviously, the ones that I really liked, I bought candles for. And then there were some others that are on my wish list. So CIRE TRUDON was founded in 1643. They're the oldest candle maker in the world. They were the first ones to discover the use of beeswax in candles. Prior to that, I think for candles, the materials used were like tallow and animal fats and stuff, so they were messy and they stank. But beeswax is made from, the beeswax comes from the cap of the beehive, which is like a hard wax that the bees create to, I guess, protect the hive. And they just shave that off basically, or and cut that away. These days they don't take the whole cap because bees are obviously endangered. They only take a portion of it and preserve the hive for the bees. All the sales from a particular candle in one of these, in the line of CIRE TRUDON, is actually made of beeswax still to this day. And all the part of the proceeds to all of the sales of those candles everywhere in the world go back to some kind of research into bees or some kind of organisation that helps to preserve the bees. So I think that's really special. In each jurisdiction it's a little bit different, or the charity is a little bit different. But I think that's pretty special. The other thing to note is that these candles come in a very distinctive shape, and the shape is actually mimicking the shape of a champagne bucket. And I don't have one because they're really expensive, but you can get these massive 3 kilo TRUDON candles, and they're in a massive glass thing, and you can actually use that one as a champagne bucket once the candle is finished, which I think is pretty cool. The first one I'll talk about is actually one that I ended up buying at full price. The only candle I bought at full price. And this is called Eureka, and it's their latest release. Eureka is the name of a town in Morocco, which is very famous for its iris. And based on that, you can probably guess that it's an iris-based scent, and it is really, really pretty. It's very floral and creamy, buttery kind of sensation, and well, it smells like iris. It is a beautiful, soft floral, kind of a little bit earthy. It's a light scent, so it's not super strong, but it definitely scents the room. But it's just a really subtle kind of scent. I really, really love this. And look, the glass is just so pretty. Look at that. And the reason it took me so long to actually get around to buying CIRE TRUDON candles was because they are not cheap. And I always sort of wondered, well, if I can get a $40 candle or a $20 candle, why would I spend the money on a $120 candle? And the reason for them being pricey, other than them being, you know, a very famous house, is that everything about these candles is a work of art. So everything, all the ingredients, everything about the candle itself is sourced in France. The only thing that isn't sourced in France is the glass that they come in, and that is actually, it's a vintage glass from, well, it's from a vintage glass maker in Tuscany. So beautiful, beautiful presentation, really, really stunning. And they are works of art, and I will happily be repurposing these glasses. You can use the little ones. You get these little travel size ones, which would be great little espresso glasses, I think. And these apparently, I think it was described by the gentleman who was running the class, he uses them for gin and tonics. I don't know if I'd use it for that, but yeah, anyway, they can definitely be repurposed, and I guess you could gift them on as well, maybe. Who knows? But I just really like them. You know, is it worth the price? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. I really appreciate beautiful things that are beautifully made. So I'm happy to spend a little bit more occasionally to treat myself to something really nice. And this was one of those things. Oh, so the next candle I'll talk about is this one, which I've almost burnt down completely. This is called Cernos. So this one is black fig, and it's got some citrus in there. You've got some, I think, cedar wood. There is cashmere wood in here as well, and there's a pine note as well. So it's a bit green. It's really, really beautiful. Stunning, stunning fragrance, very unisex. Some of the candles, I say that because some of the candles I have and some of the candles that come from the CIRE TRUDON range can be quite overtly masculine smelling. Not that that's bad, but I'm just sort of saying that, I mean, Eureka is kind of a soft floral, so that, you know, I guess it would lean feminine, but this is very much unisex. I love this one. The other one that I got free as well was this one, and it's called La Marquise, and it still is all nicely wrapped up in its box. So I might not open that. So this is called La Marquise, and it is it's named after the mistress of Louis XV, and she was a politician or a diplomat. And this smells like a verbena, and the candle itself would be looking like that. But yeah, so it's verbena and sort of white florals, I think. It's really elegant is the word I'm looking for, but kind of fresh as well, because that verbena sort of gives it that lemony, citrusy sort of smell. A little bit green, but then you've got the florals then there to round it out as well. This is really beautiful. And I haven't burned the candle yet, obviously, so I don't know how it performs in terms of scenting the room, but I will be burning it in the not too distant future. Maybe I'll burn it today. Maybe I'll open it. I don't know. It's just that it's so beautifully wrapped. I'm such a sucker for packaging, seriously. So that was La Marquise. The next one I want to talk about is called Ernesto, and this is a limited edition one, which just comes in a really cool sort of glass. It's all sort of a bit metallic looking. It normally is in a green one like this. This is one of, if not their most popular candle. And this one is made in memory or or to honor, I guess, Che Guevara, who was the Marxist revolutionist. And the smell is like all of the smells of Havana. So there's tobacco, it's spicy, there's rum in here as well, a little bit woody, a bit ambery, maybe a bit of leather as well. It's beautiful. It's a very masculine kind of scent, but stunning, stunning, stunning. But this is quite strong as well, so it will fill a room and you will know about it. So it's a beautiful, beautiful candle, and I'm very happy to have that one. The next one I'm super, super happy to have, and it's massive. It's an 800-gram one. Yes, it did cost me a pretty penny, but again, this was a limited edition, so I got two for the price of one, which kind of brings this one down to the price of one of these. This is called, I was going to say Nahima, and no, that's a Guerlain perfume. This is called Nazareth. This is the smell of Christmas. It's beautiful. It's got cinnamon and orange, and it's really spicy. So I think it's got some 5 spice in there. It's got a little bit of citrus in there. Apparently it's got benzoin and vanilla and musk and myrrh. It's stunning. I'm so glad I have it. And I wasn't setting out to buy the 800-gram candle originally, but they'd sold out of the smaller ones in this particular scent, and I really, really wanted this scent. So I bought it, and I'm very glad. So this will last me, I'm thinking decades. Well, this one plus the other one, there's 2 of them. So I am looking forward to burning that come Christmas time. Or maybe I'll just burn it in winter, because it's sort of a wintry kind of smell anyway. And our Christmas is in summer, not in winter. So perhaps that might be the better way to go. So that's it for the actual candles that I bought. So I ended up with 2 of those, 2 of these, 1 of these, and these were the 2 freebies. And then I made another purchase, which is probably what tipped this over into a very extravagant buy. So with these cameos, you could use any wax melt diffuser, which basically a little tray with a tea light candle underneath. But of course Trudon make their own, and I bought it because it is beautiful. And it's called La Promeneuse, and this is what it looks like. And it was made by a very famous designer, Pauline Deltour. And again, all of the materials are sourced in France, and the glass is again from Tuscany. So this is obviously in the design of a lantern, so you can transport it to any room. Not that you couldn't transport any other standard wax diffuser to any other room, but I mean, it's just a work of art. It's beautiful. I really love it. And when you light the tea light, so the glass comes off, you have the tea light in the bottom. I've got wax all over it because I blew the wax out the other night and blew wax everywhere. And then you've got this little dish in the top, which is where the little wax cameo sits. I've obviously had one in here already, so it's a little bit melted. And then there's this little brass spoon in here, which just sits in the base. And so when you're done with the wax, or if you want to change the wax, you can simply lift it out like that, pull the wax off the brass and put it back in, and then put another cameo on top. So you don't have to completely work through one cameo and then go to another one. You can change the scents out, which I thought it was pretty. It did cost a lot of money, I'm not going to lie. It bumped the whole purchase up to a lot. Anyway, I did it, I bought it, and I am actually not regretting it. I really love it. This sits on my bedside table, and I melt a particular cameo in the bedroom, which I think just makes the bedroom smell really beautiful. The thing that I like about this is that you don't have to burn a whole candle in order to be able to scent a room. The other thing I've really enjoyed about having this or using the cameos is being able to explore a lot more of the scents without having to make the capital investment of the candles. So the one that I have really been loving very, very much. So it's called Madeira. I don't know if you can see that. It smells, it's a white floral scent with jasmine. Oh, it's absolutely stunning. Really, really stunning. And I do actually want to get a candle of this, but now that I have that, I'm sort of going, I can't really justify it. And you can buy refills of these for, I think 4 for $30 or something, maybe $40. So, and they last 8 hours each. And these are more strongly scented than the candles. So you don't have to burn these or melt these or keep the heat on them for as long as the candle in order to be able to scent a room. Literally the room will be scented within a few minutes. You could use any wax melt diffuser and just use just buy the cameos for $40 a pack. But there are a couple here that I just want to talk about quickly before I finish this out because the story behind them is really cool. So this one is called Solus Rex. And the story behind this is that this smells like the floorboards or the parquetry in the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles. And the way that they scented this was they used headspace technology, which basically meant they put a dome over the floorboards, put it under vacuum, which draws the scent out, and then they basically distill it into a into a fat or a wax, and that's how they got it. So then they don't do that anymore, obviously, but that's how they got the original scent, and then they synthetically recreated that scent to continue to scent these candles, which I think is pretty cool. And so this smells like wood. Obviously. Yeah, so it does. It smells like wood, but it also smells a little bit like the varnish as well, and it smells incensey, so it's a bit smoky. It's really, it's interesting. It's a very masculine kind of smell, and I don't know. It's such a woody smell that I don't know. I feel like it requires a really big library or something to be able to do this smell justice. I wouldn't just burn it in my bedroom, for instance, but it is really interesting, and I just thought it was a cool story. So that's that one. The other one that I wanted to talk about is this one. It's called CIRE. Now this one is the only candle in the line that is still made of beeswax. And so this is the one that I was talking about, that a percentage of all sales globally goes back to either preserving bees or into the research of bees. And it smells like kind of honey, obviously, so it is reminiscent of the actual smell of the beeswax, but it also has a bit of a muskiness to it and a bit of a spiciness to it, actually. Maybe cinnamon. It's actually a really nice smell. I didn't think I'd like it because I'm not a huge fan of honey, but it's not just honey, it's a bit woody as well. So yeah, I would definitely, that might be the next one that I try in the very fancy, very pricey wax melt diffuser. The one thing I will say about them is that you can smell that they are really high quality, and they smell, this is going to sound bad, they kind of smell a bit snobby, a bit highbrow. When I burn, say, a glasshouse candle or any other scented candle that in my collection for that matter, you know, they smell beautiful, don't get me wrong, and they smell classy, and that's fine, but these just are on another level. I mean, not just in how they look in the presentation, but the actual smell of them just smells really sophisticated. And when I burn these, I feel, I don't know, I sort of imagine myself being in a very sophisticated, chic house or apartment, very minimal styling, which is obviously not my house. And I just feel very stylish when I burn these. So there is something about these candles that for me makes the price worth the price, because they don't smell like any other scented candle I burn, and they do smell like they are, just that the quality has just been brought up by quite a substantial step. And I guess that's why they cost what they cost. So that's it. That's my review of CIRE TRUDON candles. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something new about the house that you maybe didn't already know. I myself really struggled with the price point of these candles, but once I kind of understood the history of the house and what goes into making these candles and where the materials come from, I kind of had more of an appreciation for them. And certainly once I had smelled the candles themselves and realizing that they are just a very high quality, very sophisticated fragrance, I really didn't really have that much trouble parting with my pennies to get some of them. So these will last me quite a while. I don't need to buy any more for quite some time. And yeah, I'm happy. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're staying safe and staying home. Our restrictions are starting to relax a little bit here in Australia, so I'm hoping that in the not too distant future I'll be able to dress up, do my hair as I have done today, and actually put on some perfume and go out into the big wide world. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I look forward to speaking to you about some more perfume next week. Okay.